Call meeting to order. Please join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Public input. Anybody here for public input? Amendments to the agenda? I have one. I need to add under the consent agenda appointment of Judy Murphy to the vacancy on the library board. Comes to us from Phyllis Kelly, board chairman. Please add that. Any other amendments from the floor? Mayor's report. First off, I do want to thank everybody involved in Hillings Fest. Talking to Corey on the way up from a business point of view, you know, it was a great weekend for them. Weatherman gets a big thank you from all of us too. It was a beautiful weekend. The committee, volunteers, everybody involved. I thought it was a great weekend. As mayor, though, I also want to specifically call out the city staff that works for us, and that they did a great job being there prior to the festival, getting it set up through the weekend, and after the festival. You know, you come in Monday afternoon, and the only thing left is the Swedish roundabout that we were just all talking about earlier on the street, painted on the street. So, thought they did a wonderful job. I do have a card that I would like to read. It came to the mayor and council members. We talked, and this is from ad hoc committee. We talked at this morning's meeting, ad hoc gathering, about how many people it takes to pull the Spencefield Links Fest together. Clearly, the festival wouldn't happen without our commitment and good offices, without the commitment and good offices at the city of Lindsborg. Thanks so much for supporting the festival in so many ways, large and small, from the ad hoc roundtable committee. And I think that expresses very good for the rest of us that they do a lot for us in lots of ways, and I know many times we talked about that we have a pretty small crew, but we get a lot done. So again, thank you to all, large and small, whatever part you play. It was a wonderful weekend. It was great to have visitors here and talking about downtown and how neat it looks and all that. So thank you, council, for your support on that.
What comments have we heard about the Sunstream second floor?
The only one I heard there was one.
About having the crafts up there?
Yes.
I heard positive. I talked to one of the vendors up there, and she had been to the previous Fillings Fest, and it was, of course, the weather wasn't quite as cooperative then, but she appreciated being upstairs, being inside, and
I thought I
yeah.
wondered if anything else.
No direct comments to me. So anything?
Okay.
ones I heard were very positive.
Okay.
Things from climate control to actually having the lights so you can actually see the crafts were very positive.
Next item on my agenda is I hope everybody had a chance to read their League of Kansas Municipalities magazine. Last time we had our very own Jerry was recognized in there for her Clerk of the Year award by the IIMC. So congratulations again, Jerry, for all your hard work and what you do not only for us, but also in the clerk's world. So it is very much appreciated. Couple meeting notes. Tuesday the 20th, the meeting is at 7. It may appear different than that somewhere else. And on Thursday the 22nd, the meeting's at 6:30. Both of those taking place at the Sunstream.
The one on Tuesday is 6:30. They're both 6:30.
No, Tuesday is 7.
7,
Oh, Tuesday is 7. Sorry.
Thursday is 6:30.
6:30
Okay.
at the Sunstream. And that, again, please note that. You may have seen that in some other area.
Like the Friday report.
Like right here.
I got it
I
wrong.
wasn't calling anybody out, Jerry, but Greg, do you want to talk about this?
The League of Kansas Municipalities has regional suppers where they discuss or present the legislative priorities that were adopted by the membership at the conference a couple weeks ago. The two closest locations to us would be on October 28th in Abilene and October 29th in Hutchinson. If you would like to attend, please let us know post haste. Jerry and I are planning on attending the one in Hutchinson on October 29th. If you would like to travel with us, that'd be wonderful. We'd love to have you.
So please let Jerry know so we can get that done. That's all I have for mayor's report. I'm going to move on to the consent agenda. What is your desire?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Kelly? Yes. Betty? Yes. Blaine?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Cory?
Yes?
David?
Yes.
Emo?
Yes.
Thank you.
Item number 7, there's nothing there other than, again, reminder about the meeting tomorrow night. Old business. You're up. We need to bring this back to the
Yes, you need a motion to bring it
motion
from the
to bring it
table.
off.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded to bring it back. All those in favor say aye. David?
David?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Now you're up. You have new information for us this week?
Yes,
Should be at your desk, is this correct?
yes, it should be at your desk. The only difference is going to be on the sunflower carpet quote. I got them to revise and kind of clean up the quote from previous. So I took off the stair treads, which were not quoted on the river tile quote, so they are for the same project, the same scope of work.
Thank you for that.
So now, without stair treads, if I'm reading this correctly, sunflower is $2,116.53 and river is $2,900.
Yep.
Make a motion to approve the purchase of these sterile carpet from Sunflower Carpet in the amount of $2,116.53.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Is there additional discussion? We are wanting those stair treads, correct?
Well, the back stairwell does not have
That's
them.
what I thought, so.
And so I went ahead and left it without them because it seems that the back stairwell is wearing fine.
Okay.
It doesn't look bad to me, so I left them off for now.
Okay.
So the front stairway will match exactly the back.
All right.
Is this something that later on, if it starts to wear, that they can be added afterwards?
Yeah. Or, and they can also add a carpet nosing rather than a full tread. So, if it wears like that, then we could add that. But based on the back stairway, I don't feel like we would need to do that in the near future.
Any additional discussion? Roll call, please.
Emo? Yes. David?
Yes.
Cory?
Yes?
Rick?
Yes.
Blaine?
Yes.
Betty? Yes. Yes.
Moving on to new business, a hearing request on the property at 240 Cole Street. Greg?
Notice of code violation was sent to the property owner at 240 Cole. We have since received a request for a hearing on that property. Attached is the notice of violations and the request for hearing. The request did come in the appropriate timeline, so the recommendation is to approve the request.
So moved. Second.
Request date is?
It would be November 2nd.
Do they have to cite a reason for the hearing? Is it because they, or is it just
They
it's
just,
part of the process?
as part of the process, they can request a hearing, appeal and hearing. At which time the hearing is when they would present their reasons for not abating the issues.
Because their earlier suggestion had been that it was going to be done very, very soon.
I think it'll still be, hopefully it'll still be timely. This is just continuing down the process that we need to take to to complete our process, moving towards a resolution that's good for both. So, any further discussion, any questions? We do have,
Casey Law, the legal counsel that represents Roxbury Bank.
Given the business on the floor, I don't have anything to add, I guess, with respect to the motion. Should I?
okay,
Which, yeah.
okay. That was moved and seconded?
Mm-hmm.
Good. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. We're done. Thanks for your. Item C, ordinance 4945.
Someone's looking at us, do you want a motion?
I was looking to see what your desire is. I was waiting. We were playing chicken.
Okay.
Excuse me, Mayor, but where are we?
Item C.
See,
C945.
Thank you, sorry.
Make a motion to adopt ordinance number 4945.
Been moved, is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded, discussion. This is a, who can address this?
Well, I can.
I read this stuff here that Bill wrote, and to see this thing that seems.
Is it in place with all the discussion was, that's the way I felt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any concerns around the table with ordinance 4945 as presented here? Did we meet the intent of what citizens expressed and what council desire was?
I think the only thing that I would add is that I heard specifically a request about a cruelty item. And I don't know if that's addressed with F, item F, what we provided with the appropriate food for shelter designed to protect them from weather elements.
Chief,
As part of animal.
Yeah, there's already an ordinance that addresses
Okay.
cruelty to animals.
Okay.
Chief, do you wish to expound anything on ordinance 4945? No?
Someone had mentioned something about slaughtering on premises, if it was to be allowed or not at some point.
Under this ordinance, it does not prohibit that.
Okay.
And one of the other things we discussed in staff meeting was the concept of permits, like a one-time permit, just so we know who has chickens, who doesn't. Just so that basically essentially a registration process the first time, not an ongoing like dog license where you have to do it annually, but
I
at
would be
one
very
time.
comfortable with that provision. That would make me feel, as well as the people who came here and spoke, I did actually have people, and that, unfortunately it doesn't happen a lot where people actually seek you out and talk about something, but the people who did seek me out were hesitant about it. They weren't necessarily opposed, they just had some questions, and so I feel like a registration might be a compromise or just some due diligence.
And I would agree. Does that mean that if people have chickens and they have not registered, they are in violation of the code and subject to penalty then?
Well, I think you'd want to grant this, for those that already have chickens, I think you'd want to grant a certain period of time to be able, let's call it a grace period, to be able to come in compliance. Whether that's 30 days, 60 days, that could be decided by you. But then, essentially, beyond that time period, yes, they would be in non-compliance and subject to the penalty phase.
Okay. And I think that is appropriate.
With those changes, Greg, then does this have to go back? Jerry?
Say yes.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to draft language. The city attorney will have to draft language on the permit portion. You said changes, the other.
Or one of them was a permit, and then
The other was addressed.
Yeah, I was just questioning it at that time.
Actually, three things I guess were addressed.
Is this a matter of paperwork, or is this monetary registration?
I guess that's for this group to decide. That's a good question.
I guess my question would be, what would, I know it's impossible to predict, but what would the cost of the city be by adopting this type of ordinance in the way of police time and others answering complaints or other things associated with the having chickens?
They would be able to afford it.
So you're saying there will be an added cost to the city if we do?
I don't know, it's hard to predict. Well, let me ask this, if you own a dog, what is it for, what do you have to pay a fee to have a dog? $5?
Is it $5 if it's spayed or neutered, and $25 if it is not?
I would put a $5 fee in with the chickens and the dog come together.
Yeah.
I'd be happy with that. I think it's a good idea if they have some kind of registration.
Scanners.
Yeah.
$5 per day.
Have an objection?
Permit, man, that's gonna do those two things. $5 fee.
Roosters are still prohibited, correct?
Yes.
Correct. I could have swore I heard one the other day I was walking around.
That's not to say you didn't.
Okay, good. No, I heard.
It's right outside, see, these are
With the city.
It'd be fair to say that there are already chickens in the city.
Oh, yeah.
All right, with the changes we're talking about, we need to table this.
Just a quick
Yes.
question. If we just have general questions, would now be the time
This
to
would be a
have?
great time.
or-
It comes back as one, you know,
Okay.
idea next time, hopefully for approval.
I'm going to plead total ignorance on the subject of chickens within the city limits. It's the first time I've seen or heard, or not tonight, but the last few weeks. And I have no experience with other cities of how it's worked. I posed the question at the last council meeting, if we've heard of any cities where this just didn't work out so good. And I didn't hear, I don't think I heard a response to that one way or the other. Have we gathered any more
Well,
information
they
on it?
cited a couple that they had talked to, Topeka and Manhattan, and then some just discussion that was really just hearsay, I guess, on Facebook.
Or it did work or didn't work.
It was working, and actually, I was kind of surprised by that, and the other thing that when she was citing her statistics of how many, was how few people actually wanted to do that. And that doesn't mean that that's not going to be, or that's going to be the case in Lindsborg, but even in places such as Kansas City, Topeka, Lawrence, it seemed to be 10 or 15
For the whole city.
for the whole city.
Yeah, Wichita, I think it was like 100. I mean, it's got over 100,000 people. It's minimal.
I know I did some, just Google owning chickens in the city, or urban chicken farming, and a couple examples that came up. One was Ann Arbor, Michigan, and I don't remember the other now. And they were both successful programs.
I don't think any of us have heard anything at this point.
I think that the conversation did lend itself to say that it's roosters that people don't like, or are crowing at 4 o'clock in the morning or whatever time.
But what I did not hear really good answers about were the potential pests or, other critters coming to find chickens or that they might attract just by being chickens. But I'm not sure that that's a lot different than any other, if you have other animals that also make noise or, so I don't think that's, if we could single chickens out for that.
Is there any other discussion?
It's all over the place.
Yeah.
Other discussion? So we get the right ordinance back.
Well, I'll make the motion to table it.
Been moved to table? Sorry, Greg.
Well, I would recommend instead of tabling it, just forward it to the November 2nd council meeting with the revisions.
Well, I'll make the recommendation of the ordinance to the next council meeting with revisions prepared by Bill DeCinis.
Is that a motion? Do we have a second?
Second.
Then moved to second to table with revisions to the next council meeting. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Item D, Tim, stay there. This is a request from the police department. Excuse me, for permanent no parking signs in the 600 block of North Main on the west side.
Currently, a portion of the block is already indicated as no parking over by the water tower. The request is to continue and do the entire rest of the block on the west side of the street, 600 block north.
Is this the same block where the lighting issue was discussed 2 weeks ago?
No, it's just more down.
This is where the jog is, and it forces you kind of off to the west side.
Motion to talk?
You do.
Okay, I'll make a motion, we approve no parking on 600 block of North Main Street.
We have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
That's on the west side.
Yeah, on the west side, and that's what I was gonna ask about, why the west side and not the east side? I mean, because that jog, it just kind of makes more sense to me to be on the east side.
Well, there's residential housing on the east side.
Nothing on the west.
And we already have a portion of the west side, no parking due to the water tower. So it doesn't make sense to continue on that
Good
side.
deal.
Does that go from corner to corner then, or it would be on the driveway, you go clear?
It's right there. That would be.
Other questions?
Is it
Five signs or 2 signs?
That's what your chief recommended.
Is the street narrower there than the 700 block of North Main? The parking's allowed on both sides there, I guess.
I think the issue in my mind, Corey, is the job that you're forced to do puts you right into that. You know, everybody wants to get away from the cars and, you know, make a quick over and then go. And, you know, we thought a half block or a quarter block would be enough, and it appears that it's not.
Well, in the past, we didn't have very many cars parking on the west side.
East side.
So it was never really an issue. Now, we're getting cars parked there all the time on a regular basis, and it's becoming an issue.
We're okay north. We're not going to be looking at this all the way out of town.
Hopefully by then they're slowed down and they're coming, you know, they're coming off the big street, the main street, and they're, you know, slowed down by that time, and they're letting common wheel courtesy. So, other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Thank you very much. Thank you, Tim. Moving on to credit card scanners, item E. This is a request, a recommendation to expenditure $1,298 from ETS for 2 ISC 250 scanners. Is equipped with Scan EMV. What is your desire?
Motion to recommend approval or motion to approve?
We have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded, discussion?
How sure how we did this 2 weeks?
No, we didn't.
We didn't even talk about it?
Deja vu. This one.
So we locked into a contract with this company?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Were we locked into a contract with this company, with the processor?
This is the company that works with our software provider to process credit cards. And both our software provider and this company have both recommended the same machine. So just to avoid only software and only everything else, we just opted that this would be the way to go.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty steep.
Yeah, that's,
Probably 5 times what I paid for mine, but
Well,
I have laser.
I got a $10 USB swiper.
Yeah, but well,
But it has to do with
Probably doesn't
chip.
meet the chip standard today.
But I'm
Because-
surprised that they require that.
Well, with a scanner without the chip, I mean, if you have a scanner that does not scan the chip, then any liability for fraudulent charges falls on the city as opposed to the credit card issuing company. So by doing this, we take ourselves out of that liability.
I just think that's weird that they're gonna do that whenever so many other ones don't put the liability on you for that. If you have a signature and the person they're in person swiping it, you're golden.
It's not just that, this company, it's across the board.
The
Financial.
whole credit card industry is switching over to the EMV chip. I can't remember what EMV stands for. It's been common in Europe for years. And what happens with the chip is for every transaction, that chip gives it a unique identifier. So it makes it much harder to perpetuate fraud with a credit card.
So is there like a deadline for this or something?
October 1, we've already passed the deadline.
Because none of my cards have that, so.
Well, it's,
Most companies now are reissuing cards
Cards,
to
yeah.
current holders that have the chip in it.
now the thing is you may not own a personal credit card with a chip on it. Well, that doesn't mean the liability is yours, but as someone that accepts credit cards and you don't have the equipment to accept the chip reader, then you are assuming liability if there's a fraudulent charge instead of the bank.
Guess I need to make some calls.
Yeah.
Nobody has informed me of that, so now you're educating me. That's good.
Any other discussion? We have a motion on the table for $1,298 from ETS.
I feel better now that it's tied in with your software, because there are some less than reputable credit card processing companies out there that's taken a lot of people in our community to the woodshed or whatever else you'd like to say about it. But it doesn't sound like we're part of that, so I feel a lot better. Thanks.
Roll call, please.
Kelly.
Yes.
Betty. Yes. Lane.
Yes.
Rick.
Yes.
Corey.
Yes.
David.
Yes.
Tina.
Yes.
Item F, National League of Cities voting delegates.
It's actually delegate.
Delegate.
We'll get one.
I nominate Rick.
I've heard that train before.
So delegate is a nomination for Rick. Is there a second?
Second that.
Do you want to include the two alternates?
Well, there's only two more of us going.
First alternate is, who do you wish to nominate? The first, the two people going are Gary, correct?
Yeah, Becky and me.
Rick, David, Becky, and Gary.
Okay. We need a first alternate and a second alternate. Throw some names out, we're gonna go home.
I'll nominate David and Becky then.
Oh, I thought you were asking for an addition to that. Okay.
So Rick is the primary delegate voting, alternate is David and Becky.
We will be watching you.
Was there a second for,
Do we have a second on all of those names?
I'll second if it wasn't.
You do now have a second for a full slate.
it?
Any discussion? Any turn downs?
You need to ask about character references.
Only for you, David, only for you. Voice, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you very much. There is no executive session tonight. I'm on item 11 of other. Any others from council?
Can I just ask a real quick question?
This is the time.
Back on the parking, the signs are off Second Street.
They are.
Are we off to a good start, or I'm just curious to how
I
it's,
know they're down. I haven't heard anything.
We are down.
no backing accidents or?
They
Any incidents?
They just went today, so.
Oh, it's just today?
Yeah.
Oh.
Anybody hit anybody today?
Please say that.
Hearing no others, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Then moved and second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you very much.